reconveyance
Yep.
of old elementary school building lot. Call to order, please. Joy, roll call. I'm here, Tim's here.
Tim Barrett,
Here.
Linda Duncan,
Here.
Tom Fitzer, Rob Metzger, Tara Owen.
Thank you, Joy. All right. Presentation of the agreement between, now, it's the very last.
Yeah, it's in your
Okay.
board packet, and it's what we reviewed at our work session last month.
Right.
Really, this is just more for public comment if there's anybody here. Anytime we do a real estate transaction, we have a hearing, a public hearing, for that. I don't think anybody's here for,
Here it comes. Tara, all right.
so anyway, that's it.
So
You can motion to adjourn,
I'll make that motion.
and then you can just, you're adjourned. Because you don't have to
I don't
have
have
a
to second
second.
it. I can second it.
Third.
We'll adjourn. All right, meeting adjourned. All right, thank you. Now, we can
You're
go
open.
ahead. Thank you, Tara.
You're fine.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Wilton's Community School District Board Meeting, Wednesday, November 8th. Mission of the Wilton Community School District is to provide an education that encourages continual progress through the improvement of one's abilities, the expansion of one's interests and knowledge, and the growth of one's character. Call to order, please. Roll call. Joy.
Tim Barrett,
Here.
Linda Duncan,
Here.
Tom Fitzer, Rob Metzger, Tara Owen.
Here. All right. Agenda approval. Are there any additions, corrections? Burnett.
None. Mrs. O'Donnell is done with the NHS ceremony. She's going to pop in, but just FYI, that's where she's at.
All right. Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, agenda, oh no, I already did that. Minutes. We'll look at the October 11th regular meeting and the October 25th work session.
Second.
Those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, public forum. We'll go ahead and do how it's listed. We'll do the junior, senior vocal teacher petition.
Yeah, Mrs. Norman's here, and she brought some kids and
Yay!
the Dorian Festival participants. So thanks for coming tonight.
Yes, we like that.
And we have some All-State vocal
Audition.
participants too.
And
And a band.
Okay, so I just say, first of all, that we have Opus on a choir, which is through eighth grade, and I just want to tell you who they are. One is Ann Stephens, and that's one of Stevie's students. She's a sixth grader. And then Stevie has to go the day before because she's on the committee for Opus, so she's going to ride with me. So she's going to come with me and Clarissa and Aiden Dillon. And Clarissa's in seventh grade and Aiden is in eighth grade. And then Josh Hernandez, who's also Hernandez, right, and he's also a seventh grader. I think Clarissa's been in Opus a couple times now, but it's a first for Aiden and Josh, so that'll be fun, and Aniston as well. So those kids are going next Thursday to Ames for the Opus Festival, and they'll spend the day there. The Opus is just a single day event where we go and they rehearse and they have a performance at like 4:00 in the afternoon. And you just, if you ever had a chance to go to the Opus concert, you would never believe fifth graders and sixth graders and eighth grade boys and whatever could sing like that. It's just amazing how good they really are. So they'll get so much out of that. They're such good kids. But I'm gonna save my all-staters for last. I just want to introduce, I have boys introduce themselves. I have 4 of our Dorian Honor Choir students here, and they're all 5. 4. Tyler can't go yet, he's a sophomore. So to go to Dorian, that's at Luther College. It's been going, I think, for 74 years. And the Dorian Festival takes place at the beginning of January, like 8th and 7th and 8th. So they go on a Sunday, they stay overnight, and then on Monday, they have a concert. But there's so many students that they actually do like a drawing for parents that can go, because there's only about 200 seats for parents to sit in, because they feel like the experience is just that experience of people who love to sing, getting a chance to sing together. And it's always just a real blessing. I don't know if you've ever been around Luther's music program, but it's just a gift to your heart to go there. So they'll get a lot out of it. I'll let those guys introduce themselves. But let me tell you, the girls that are going to be there are juniors Bella Fulton, Leela Glover, Amber Owen, and Ashley Swift. And then I'll let these guys introduce themselves. And can you tell them what grade you're in?
Hi, my name's Clifton Brown and I'm a senior.
Tyler's not going to Dorian.
Oh, Lee Dotson, I'm also a senior.
Juan Marquez, I'm also a senior.
Gabriel Breed, junior.
And all 5 of these guys also went to the Rooter Sing Festival, which is a tenor-based festival at Wartburg College. So they've been doing a lot of really great extra singing stuff, and I think most of you did RVC as well, right? Raise your hand if you went to RVC. Oh, like Tyler and Gabe, okay? So we just been keeping busy, and you know, we hosted RVC in October here. So that was a wonderful experience as well. I put about 8.5 miles of steps on my legs. So, then I'm gonna let our Allstate guys speak for themselves tonight. We had 3 students that auditioned for Allstate, 2 for the vocal and 1 for the band. Oh, before that, Dorian is almost 1,000 students this year. And I have brought kids to Dorian where there's 1,450 students. So that's why there's so little seating for an audience. It's a great experience. But for the Allstate choir, they only accept 600 students, and I think they have roughly like 3,000 who audition. And for the band, I think it's about 185, maybe 250 at the most for the band. And then they have an orchestra too, that's about a 200-piece orchestra. So it's very competitive, highly competitive, and they expect excellence out of all the students. And by golly, the kids live up to it. So the guys gave everything they had this year to get in. And we haven't done it for quite a few years for the vocal. I think it's been more than 10 years for the vocal side. Probably since Pete was here for the band. I know Jackson didn't do it, especially with the COVID thing and after that. And I know John hasn't done it last year, but now this year he fired it up again. And so I'm gonna let these guys tell you about their experience with Allstate.
As I said, my name's Clifton Brown, and I auditioned for Allstate on the baritone saxophone. If you don't know the statistics, 6 people make it in every year for the baritone saxophone, 1 for each tryout location. I spent roughly 5 hours every single day from July 20th when they released the music around July 20th to October, 5 hours every single day practicing saxophone, practicing after work, practicing. It's a lot. The experience of the Allstate was like trial by fire almost. It was completely exhausting and one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. But it was very rewarding. If I didn't do Allstate, I would not have started taking saxophone lessons. I would not have gotten as good as I am right now. And I definitely would not be as confident as I am in myself and my playing abilities. The big thing about Allstate that I think is really cool is I met so many different people and I made so many different connections that now I feel like I'm more set up to keep going and keep playing music for the rest of my life.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Where are you planning on going to college, by the way? This is really important, I think. You understand what he's planning on.
I'm thinking about going to college at UNI, studying jazz.
Okay.
Good job. Thanks, Clifton.
My name's Tyler. I'm a sophomore, and I auditioned for the vocal bit of Allstate. And as a bass, I had to audition by myself because Bane is also a bass, and nobody from the 2 sections could audition together. So I had to go in by myself. It was a very nerve-wracking almost experience. But I think there's still plenty of room for me to improve in the next few years that I have to audition. And I think that I've improved just in the last 4 months that I've been practicing as a whole. And I think that it was just a really good experience for me.
Thanks, Tyler. Yeah.
So if you didn't know, Tyler Clifton and I had all gone to, what was that, Luther? Wartburg. We went to Wartburg for an all-state camp where we practiced, 12 hours in a day.
For
And-
2.5 days.
For 2.5 days. And it was very killer on our vocal cords, but we learned a lot. And after we did that, we practiced until auditions. That was 3 days a week, about 2 hours each day. It was a gruesome process, and there was practice at home, and we learned a lot. Tyler has improved in an exceedingly large amount since we first started this, and I'm proud of him, very much so. I've grown a lot too. Not as much as Tyler has though. He's doing really good. I believe within the next year or so, Tyler will make it into All-State, and he's got to try his best. All-State auditions themselves, that was a process in itself. Well, we got there at 9-ish, and we didn't leave until about 5:30, 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30.
So, and most of that time was spent waiting, so the waiting in itself was pretty nerve-wracking too. To get to your audition, once it was done and over with, that was the easy part. Then you had to wait and wait. It was what Tyler, you had yours at 10, I had mine at 12 something, and then we didn't get the results until 6:30. So that was
They come out with a
6.5 hours worth of waiting.
Yeah.
They come out with a round of recalls first. And so then it takes another hour and a half or so to run through all the recall auditions. Then they just stand in line and wait their turn to go in. So if they would have been recalled, they would have gone in front of 4 judges and sang by themselves. So it's a brutal experience, but I have to tell you, one of the experiences that happened there is they're waiting for the recall. Remember this, guys, when the recall lists were going up? They're all standing there, it's hot, they all smell by that time.
We're all extremely bored.
They're very bored, very tired, they've been stressed out all day long, waiting for the results, but they're standing there looking at the window on the office, waiting for those recall lists to come up. And a couple guys start singing one of the songs that
Oh,
they've been
actually,
working.
no, this guy, he gets up, he's a little taller, but his sister's conducting us.
Yeah,
And we start singing some of our pieces from our auditions. And
Just
so
off
he
the
gets, I don't know, about 200 people in the same hallway to just start singing
oh,
the
cool.
same music. And it was a beautiful experience. You would have had to have been there, but
And then the Lord came down.
I feel like it was almost as good as a replacement of just not getting in itself. Just to sit there and sing with a bunch of people you'd never met before, just in the
Singing
first
for the
place.
joy of it, it was great to hear and see, just.
Especially after I had practiced it for like 4 months. It was a great experience. And we met so many people. I mean, just through camp and through the auditions, it was to connect with so many people just in a couple days. It was great.
And Tyler will meet a bunch more of them, some again next year, and he's dragging some friends with him this time. Yeah, right? AJ, yeah, we're bringing some kids with us again next year, because these guys are leaving us. Sadly, they're all seniors, so we might talk Gabe and. Okay. So there's the gist of our All-State. Any questions, you guys, or?
For the Dorian, you said, how do I say this, you had to audition. Do you send in a video of yourself?
No, the Dorian is not an audition. Dorian is a nomination from me.
Oh,
So
okay.
the directors nominate their top juniors and seniors for the Dorian Honor Choir.
Okay.
And Luther has some kind of criteria, magic matrix that they use for picking our students for going. This is the first year I've had 8 students selected. I think the most I've had selected before is 5. And
We had last year.
we have 5, yeah. And some of the things that get them in are things like doing the All-State auditions, doing solos at contests, which these two guys both did solos at a contest last year and got ones their first year out. You know, Tyler's gonna do one this year, Gabe's gonna do one.
Hello.
And things like that, you know, being leaders in our group. And I also, when I nominate them, I include things that they're doing in their communities as well, or things that they do in the school community that are leadership type or community service type, Silver Cord type things. Because I feel like that really helps them be accepted into the group too. So I think it's wonderful they got 8 of us in there. They're gonna have a great time. They're gonna freeze on the floor, sleeping overnight on campus, but they'll can't come stay in the hotel room. You gotta stay there on the floor. You know, it happens when the college kids are out for their Christmas break. So I think they just all over campus, they just turn all the heat down to the, as far as they can. And, Decorah, I tell the kids all the time, my feet have never been as cold ever anywhere as they have been when I've gone to the Dorian Festival at Luther, because it's colder. It's like Alaska out there. I mean, it's a great experience. It's well worth the cold toes, so.
Good luck.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's cool. Thanks.
I don't really have a question, but I just want to let you know that after your last concert, I had a member of the community come up and say how amazed they were on how great the kids and the concert that you put on. They said it was great. So I just wanted to let you know that
Thank you.
your hard work and your hard work are being noticed.
Thank you.
So,
Good.
we really appreciate that.
Good, because they commit and they have sacrificed a lot of their personal time to get better. It's things that they're learning don't just happen in that choir room for an hour and a half every day. They are working outside of the classroom and they're a good team together. So it's good to hear that they're making a difference and they're making an impression. I like that, so. And then several of them are jazz choir students too, by the way. And this is our second year of working at jazz choir students. And that's an audition selection thing that we do at the beginning of the year. So just kind of wave at them if you're also in jazz choir. And I'm gonna work on Gabe for next year. It's okay, Gabe, you can just. So we're waiting to hear some good stuff out of the jazz choir too, so.
Good. Great. Thank you.
Got everything you need?
All right.
So. Good to hear from FFA kids now.
Yes.
Just got their little blue jackets to saw.
Come on up, we got a whole crew here today.
Nice.
Yeah, so Caitlin's gonna pass out kind of a little pamphlet that we put together, just in case we missed something or something around those lines. So we're gonna give some updates on, County Fair, State Fair, how fall harvest went, national convention, and then, Mr. Dave's gonna give a greenhouse update, so, we're gonna go and let them do a lot of the.
Right.
Okay, at the Ag Farm this year, we hosted 7 kids' animals. We had wide variety of animals. A big award we received at the State Fair was Supreme Breeding Guild. Emma Hartman received that. So that was pretty big for our FFA chapter.
That's something that student has been trying to achieve, that family has been trying to achieve for at least 10, 15 years. So it's a huge family achievement on that one.
Yeah, and we're hoping numbers increase in next year, and then we're gonna add some workshops to help improve like first-year members so they can learn more and get more experience in the project.
And we do actually have 2 co-op members here today. We're gonna let them talk a little bit about their experience. We'll go Hadley first because I think that'll be helpful, but.
Okay, I'm Heather Ray. I'm a sophomore. I've been a part of the co-op project for 2 years. And I've showed goats both years. This year I showed 3 goats, and I think the best part about it is really getting to learn a lot about the animal and things that it takes to take care of them. And I'm proud of how far I've came from last year.
I'm Daryl. This is my first year showing pigs. And I really liked the facility. It was really nice. And I just thought it was great.
Are both of you gonna raise animals next year?
Yeah.
That's what we want, all right? Yes, good experience. Good.
These 2 are good people to ask questions, so if you have some questions for them in particular, shoot them off, but. All right, and then we can do. Yeah.
You wanna go first, Elder?
All right, so this fall we harvested the Ag Farm. It was beans this year. Last year was corn. The equipment we used Rocco's combine to harvest it. We used Thedy's auger and tractor to run beans up into the bin. We used Mauer's gravity wagon to haul the beans from the field. And we used Maxwell's loader tractor to haul the gravity wagon.
Yeah, the combine was last minute. Like the day before, the other combine that we're gonna use broke down, so early that morning, got it ready. Went around the outside once just to give us room to turn around. Then we started with the plot. It was
Fargo on one side and then Nutrient on the other.
Yep.
And then it was.
Fargo had his weigh truck, and then Nutrient had their weigh truck.
And we would do 8 rows at a time, dump onto one cart, and then do another 8 rows, dump onto the other cart.
Yeah, long,
Just went back and forth until. we got
tedious
it done.
process.
Took a little while. But
And then we had population tests, and
those were 32 rows.
32 rows of those. So in the combine, there's a computer. And so once we were done with one test, it showed us how much total weight we had. So we wrote that number down just to get more statistics on what's the better population for all that. And then the rest of it was just normal, going back and forth throughout the whole field. Got done at 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock.
7:30, I think.
So full day.
And it was 100% student done. So spring planting was in conjunction with Mr. Fitzer. He had the equipment and he let kids kind of do the planting process with him. But the harvest was 100% student. There were, the only adults that were there were me and Mr. Day and Fargo, and we were on the ground. We were not in any tractors or running any equipment. It was 100% student.
Great.
It was very cool.
Yes.
So we just got back from National Convention last week. We had 10 students who attended. It was the first time for a couple of us. It was my second year going. We got to go on a few tours on the way down there, and while we were there, we went to Precision Ag, and they kind of just showed us about their facility and what they're doing there. And then we went to the Hummels farm, and they just kind of had like a bit of everything. It was like a zoo. They had cats, a kangaroo, goats, and dogs. And cattle. And then we went to the Ozark fishery, and they kind of just showed us their process of how they do their hatchery and stuff, and showed us around and everything. And then we went to the Beasley Orchard, and there was a lot to do there. There was a corn maze, a payback ride, and then a apple launcher thing, which was pretty cool. And then at National Convention, we attended general opening session, and we got to do a few student workshops and stuff, and a lot of other cool things.
We even did a little chapter bonding activity with a haunted house. Students were the only ones that went in. I absolutely refused to go in there. So, but they seemed like they had a lot of fun. Originally, they were a little nervous about it because they're like, haunted houses. You've been to one, you've been to all of them, right? They waited.
But it took 45 minutes to go through it, so it's pretty good.
They wanted to go right back in. I was like, so that's a good advisor.
I liked the karaoke.
Yes, we did have a karaoke, yes, so the kids got rights to the radio, which they did a pretty good job on, but they were doing some good 90s throwbacks for music, and they just, on their own, were just karaoke.
Would not recommend Mr. Day for karaoke. He doesn't like it. He's slacking in that department.
Your department this today?
We had a really good time, and positive reviews all the way around, so it's always easier the second year. First year, you don't know the kids. You don't know the process, but this year was a lot of fun for all of us, so.
Good. Very good.
I'll just take a second here, just on the backside there. So since, I don't know if we were here in January, and then I think we were here a couple times, but since we met, the update, we've had plant sale. We have poinsettias in there now for our fruit sales. You can see there are the classes that we're in there for. There's also a list of donations. One is, we just got an email today, actually, so from Bayer, so that's a pretty good one there. We're gonna add some grow towers as planned. And then list of repair items or updates, and then a couple of things we're still working on, but good community support, good support from businesses and industry around the community. And it's kind of an extension of our classroom. Well, it is an extension of our classroom for lab space, and so I want to thank you for your support, and we'll make sure we get some use out of it.
Great.
And I just want to touch briefly on the co-op because we are still trying to improve that in any way that we can. So we know that our numbers were a little bit down just given how we changed the structure on certain things, but we do have a lot of interest in it in our classrooms. We have kids that are asking about us, about that process. We have parents that have talked to us at conferences about how that works, what does that look like. So we are hopeful for this next year that, you know, if the barn is not full, it is improving. But one of the main things that Savannah touched on is we would like to add a workshop element to it because the kids have a good time raising the animal. It's a good service project. It's a good learning opportunity and socialization, but they're missing that piece of, well, why do I feed this the certain way? How do I train my animal to do this? And so we're going to be meeting with industry professionals, anybody else that raises livestock, kids that are really good at it and want to give a little support to other students. So we'll be bringing those people in to kind of enhance that students program or students project. And then, you know, hopefully if it goes well, we'll open it up to other students that, you know, aren't raising at the co-op, but they still want maybe a little bit more of that learning opportunity as well.
Great, thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you have any questions, you know, ask these kids anything you want.
So and anyone can answer it. I don't care if it's, you know, whether you were showing livestock or harvesting, planting, whatever. What was one of the challenges that you met and what did you learn from that? And now you know that there's something you can maybe do different next year.
When harvesting the plots, only the head was 35 feet and the 8 rows are only cover half that. So it messed up with the monitor a little bit. So the yield that it actually showed probably been a little bit lower than it actually was because it didn't take up the whole head and it messes with the computer and stuff. So probably having the right size plots would help. And when we did the plots, we didn't go all the way down the field. We cut it in half just to save time. And that also messed with the monitor. So maybe fixing some of that might help, but.
Thanks. Anyone else? You had a challenge all summer. Do tell.
Oh, yeah. So my goats, my one would jump out all the time. So we had to build a lot of different things to put up there to get it to stay in.
I think ultimately what we decided on was like a 6 foot tall garden fence that kept the thing.
Jumpers.
Wild child.
You guys have any other questions for us or thoughts?
I don't think so. No, great job, everybody. That
Thank
is
you,
exciting.
guys.
Glad you shared.
All right, thank you.
Oh, surprised with this. All right, let's move along. Angela.
Yes, ma'am.
Business financial functions, please. What you got for us?
Okay, I really don't have too much for you. All taxation funds are up. So, ISP, I was a little concerned, when, I don't have my uploads, whatever upload ISP is. Last month we were at 39% and I'm looking at these expenditures to date and we've used $218,500. So I was like, wow, we've used almost half of our ISP money. But if you look at last month, we were 39%. So we only increased a little bit. So I think the majority of that was used with the startup of school and everybody needing their supplies. And now, this last month, I put an email out there for Townsend. So you'll see in the board bills, a lot of the credit cards just have so many different things that were purchased. And it was because some of the teachers are starting to order their Townsend order, using their funds that they get from that. Otherwise, nutrition funds, the self-insurance fund is up, latchkey is up. So everything is sitting good. So, the activity fund report, We've only got one, well, actually two negatives, drama and speech, and then the sheep, and we already explained that last month. And drama and speech, Joy has been ordering things for the upcoming play for Mrs. Miller, so that is why that is in the negative. Otherwise, board bills. And like I said, there's a lot of credit card expenditures. And these guys just mentioned national convention, so there is a lot of that in there. A lot of Townsend ordering. And then we just, will have you give us approval. We have our Geo Bond Series 2022 interest payment. That was the biggie for the month. Otherwise, nothing out of the ordinary. Not much to say, sorry. But I mean, that's a good thing.
No, we like that.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about anything, but there's really nothing particular I need to point out, I guess.
I'll make a motion.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Angela. Now we'll move on to administrative reports. Mr. Meyer, please.
I guess really the big thing that I want to highlight, we talked originally about that Lighthouse Academic Honor Roll. And then now you couple that with our ISPP ranking of a high performance school. People outside of Wilton, I mean, we're getting recognition outside of Wilton. And I think that's really a cool aspect, Every school wants to believe their school is the greatest school. And I think with things like that, I think you're starting to see that people outside of Wilton know that we've got a good product. Quite honestly, 2 years in a row for us to be a high performing school, I think there's like 12% of the schools in the state that are in that category. Then the next category up, the exceptional ranking, is like 5%. So I mean, I don't want to say we're getting into rarefied air, but the kids are doing well, teachers are doing well, families are doing well. I just think it's a nice three-legged stool that everybody's kind of doing their part, within the system, and it's paying dividends, quite honestly. So questions about anything else that I had in my report?
Because that is such a great honor, I feel, for you guys. Is there a way to get that out even to the community? I understand that parents who are involved daily understand it. They may not also. Is there a way to get that out? Because that is a heck of an honor.
I would
be, I don't know.
I don't want to call the paper and be like, hey, come and do a story on us.
Right.
That'd be a great, that'd be a great way to do that. It's out on Facebook. I posted that on Facebook. We did our live stream last week. We announced it to the building and the kids, and then I had a post go out after that, so.
We have a new editor on the paper, and I spoke with today, and so I think that.
I don't know. So if he's listening tonight, it's a great honor.
We like
It
it.
should
It
be,
is. That's
everybody
totally
should know what this is.
Yeah. All right, Jane. All right, thank you. All right, Mrs. O'Donnell. Well, I won't say too much since you saw kind of what's some of the other things that have been going on, just in my report. I a little bit about AIW, and I don't know if Joe's going to speak on that, but we are really trying to look at what we've been doing the past 6 years, and now just honestly take it to a deeper level of how can we take every unit that we teach and really think about the why, think about the how, think about how we're going to differentiate, how we're going to make it, how we're going to have substantive conversations with our students. We're really looking at taking the next step academically and trying to make sure we're doing what we're saying we're doing, and we're getting the results that we want to get. And with that said, Mr. Ozier, our new science teacher, is kind of a data geek, and we love him. And he is helping us kind of pick apart some of our numbers to paint a picture to see where we're really at. Right now, we took our conference data and we listed every student 712, and our students who
maybe weren't academically being very successful, maybe having a D or F. And then we tracked it with which parents did we see? And we found out that there is, a chunk of parents we didn't have those conversations with. And so now that gives us a baseline that, okay, what do we do next? How do we help it? How do we have these conversations? But also, we want to partner with them. We don't want them to think, oh, I'm just going to come in and hear negativity. So our building leadership team met on it last night and brainstorming and just really looking at where we're really at. And then using, like we keep joking, numbers don't lie, data doesn't lie, and building our plan from the numbers we're getting. So, and yeah, we've had a lot of all staters this month. And lots of areas, lots of recognition for our students, and then NHS tonight, which I'll have it next week's or the next month. So, good month. Aside from having a little drama today and Friday, it's always busy. But it's been I think it's been a real fun start to the school year. Kids have been great. I feel like the kids have been great. The new staff is great. Enjoying them a lot too. It seems like our staff is almost like they've worked together for 20 years, like the way that they all kind of get along. So it's been a really nice start to the school year. Any questions for me? Thank you.
No, thank you. Mr. Hetzler's report, so.
You're gonna ask Joe if he's here.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
If there's anything, you don't have to. I just want to give you the chance.
As far as PD is concerned, I have kind of pushed the AIW stuff onto the model teachers.
Okay.
To let them guide the staff, and I have joined my wife with the new teachers on teaching them the AIW process. So it's too big of a system to just come into and have, say, well, this is what we do. No, you have to build from ground up. So I think that's been the greatest thing for our new teachers is that we've just set aside that we're gonna just talk about this. Unfortunately, late last week, the woman who did all of our coaching and teaching died unexpectedly. So our resource there to refer back to is gone. So I think it's imperative that we keep moving, but like I said, I want the model teachers to do their part as far as the PD is concerned, as far as IAW is concerned. And then, like I said, I just wanted to help with the new teachers so they could get on board so we can get them on board quicker. We did a quick survey 2 weeks ago, and when we did the original pilot teams for AIW, I think only 40% of the staff that's still here was doing that.
Right.
Everybody else is new. Then you throw in COVID, then you throw in all this other stuff, and everything just got delayed and jumbled and cut short. So we were kind of in a funk, but I think we're on the track now.
All right, now we can move on to action items
Yes, ma'am.
and resignation, I see.
Yes, just down like Austin, junior high softball. I'm not hiring for that yet, but we'll get on that. And, job description, Mr. Hewitt's position with curriculum professional development leader. And that's it.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, consent agenda number 2.
Nothing in here specifically, anything that was tweaked and recommended to be tweaked got pushed down to consent agenda number 3 as a first reading.
All right, yep.
So I don't know if you have any specific questions on the 606 series, but just basic information. I always laugh a little bit because there's a policy literally on everything, you know. But sometimes, like with homework, it says it will be age appropriate and whatnot. Well, define, not age appropriate, but just like appropriate amount of homework. Where's that defined?
Yeah, how do you?
You know. Well, exactly. Students, grandma, who are we talking about? So, but anyway, I chuckle a little bit when I look at some of these.
Motion to approve.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, consent agenda number 3 is all of our,
Correct. The
First
first 3 are
readings.
first readings, and then the rest of them are second readings from last month. Okay? And I will pull these up, but you can see in bold what the recommended tweaks are to those first 3, A, B, and C. First one, school ceremonies. Just talk, I sat down with Lana Moeller and basically crosswalk what the School Board Association's handbook is on recommended changes. And just wanted to put this in here. That's a law you have to have, which is, we've always done it, so it's not like we didn't do it before, but we had the flag in the classrooms and we do the Pledge of Allegiance every day, in grades 1 through 12. So anyway, that just matches law. And then the second one, letter B, we were joking because there's that other policy about, what was the animal? Pygmy? A pig? Like a therapy pig?
therapy pig. Yeah.
But it's clear with this addition, this is not intended to address this. Or service animals, which we talked about last year with that. So, and then the last one is just, interesting here on the student production materials and services. It's the property of the school if something is created at the school. Let me give you an example. If the students at the ag farm tonight are involved in putting the crop in the ground, taking the crop out, the crop's the school's, okay? Exactly. If there's anything that's done on behalf of the school, it's still the school property. If a student makes a picture and they want to give it to their mom or their dad, we're not talking that type of, okay, stuff. We're talking about anything that would happen at the school, or if they're working in the greenhouse. You know how we have the FFA fruit sales, and we've
Right.
got
Right.
kids that sell horticulture. It's the school property. That's all that's basically referring to. So that's it under the tweaks. You'll see that again next month. And then C through P are just second reading things I explained in October. And I can answer questions on any of those if you'd like to review any of those again.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right. Individual consent.
Yeah, there's just 2. Letter A is set in the date, time. We have to have a hearing, so we gotta set the hearing date and time for our fiscal year 25 calendar already. So my recommendation is to do it on Monday, December 13th at 5:30 PM here in the media center. Which is prior to our regular.
Make a motion to set the agenda, or what are we setting? Sorry. For the district calendar on Monday, December 13th in the media center at 5:30.
Second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Letter B is just the agreement with the city of Wilton and the school district. As presented in the hearing.
Motion to approve the agreement in the city and the school. All those in favor, please.
I think we need a roll call, is that right, Joy?
That's gonna be a roll call vote.
Yeah.
Tim Barrett,
Yes.
Linda Duncan,
Yes.
and Tara Owen.
Yes.
I know, it's not a resolution,
There was
but on
no
these.
little
it's
asterisk
really-
there.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
All right, informational items, you can see the hirings, because of our numbers in wrestling, there are over 40 kids. We're adding another assistant there. Same with junior high boys wrestling, we've had good numbers as well, so wrestling numbers are outstanding. Got a bus driver hired, Tom Maurer retired, and Robert's taking his route, isn't that correct, Joy? Tom's route.
Okay.
And then varsity wrestling cheer coach. I'll tell you what,
I had one for a while.
we haven't had one for a while, and those people, that amount that they get is nothing for the time that they put in. So God bless them for taking that position. So thank you, Amanda. With that, maintenance wise, I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Our bleachers, the motor went out to let the bleachers out and in in the big gym. So Andy's working on that. But as you can imagine, sometimes parts and everything are still tough to get and a new motor. So it's a little bit of a snag there with practices starting up with everything. And luckily, we've got gym space.
Court space.
What's that?
It really cuts down on court space.
It does. So I'm just giving you a heads up, Andy's on that, in case you hear something in the community. We have the ability to push them in, but it's very difficult. You know, so again, the good news is between the 3 gyms we have, very, very fortunate. And the numbers, well, Mr. Hetzler told me, high school boys, I believe have like between 20 and 24 out 9-12. And the girls have 14 out 9-12. So it's not like we've got 6 teams, a varsity team, a fresh off team, or sophomore, you know, 3 teams of girls, 3 teams of boys. We're fortunate, well, we're not fortunate, but our numbers, and that's reflective everywhere. It's not just a Wilton thing.
Right.
But it's not like we've got numbers kind of in our ears. Wrestling is our big, you know, that's our issue for space
Yes.
right now. So, right, wrong, or indifferent, when I was visiting Mr. Hetzler about this, I know I'm a fossil now, but when I coached freshman boys basketball in the mid-90s at Mid-Prairie, I had 26 boys out for freshman boys basketball. You know, we had our own team, our own
Yes.
practice and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But 26, that's more than we have 9-12 now. But that's not just here, that's just how that's worked.
Yes.
So, anyway, times change, but I remember those days too, where, wow, we had a lot of kids. So, those are the 2 things, or the main thing I wanted to update you on. Congratulations to Tim and Tommy and Sam Wilson for their, election results last night. So I appreciate you doing that, Tim, and I met with Sam a week ago today. And he came in and went over everything to get started, and he'll be here next month, and Linda will be here for one more
A
meeting
little
with us.
while, for part of a meeting, yes, this is my complete meeting. Next month, it'll just be the beginning and then you gotta, yeah.
And then you can just come to the hearings like everybody else.
Yeah.
And don't.
I'll come when the kids come. I want to hear the kids. I want the parade of champions and I want to know what all the kids are doing. Not that I don't want to know what you guys are doing. but that's kind of a little more fun.
That's right. So,
The students.
Just real quick too.
Yes.
Wednesday, the 15th,
Oh,
we're meeting with the teachers.
Yes.
At 8, was it? Okay,
In here.
in the meeting center.
Yeah.
And about a half hour, you know, whatever. But I would really like, if you can make it, that'd be awesome. So I'll bring,
Get back to me.
is that-
Carly,
yeah,
get back to me.
I will.
that's a week from today.
That would be from today.
For some reason, I thought since you guys were
No, we
talking so much.
we did talk about, it, but it was just a
I know.
tiny thing and it was like.
It was not a big deal, but I texted him, I go,
Yeah.
how'd your meeting, because I was just
Yeah.
flying around. I'm like, hey, just how'd your meeting go? And he's like, oh, it's 15.
So anyway, I'd really like that.
Really good.
lame duck, but I think it's okay. You should come.
We need you here.
You're still a duck.
I'm still a beaver. I should have said I'm kind of a lame
You're still the
beaver.
president of Beaver until
Yes.
next month.
Purple.
So let's pray there's no crisis. I haven't heard anything back from anybody as far as the school board convention. That's fine.
Yeah, and
It's okay. I know it's busy.
It's hard, yeah.
I know. So anyway, just FYI, I just, so. I rest my case. Is there anything else you need tonight? I mean, any questions? Well, I don't know anything you need to know.
What do we need to know?
No work session,
I
no,
was-
this month. I'm still like November because of Thanksgiving.
Right.
But we can if we need to.
which is crazy.
8 a.m.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
I know.
That's why I don't even feel like I'm in November, let alone Thanksgiving for 2 weeks.
All my little people are requesting Christmas shows already, so
Oh.
we skipped Thanksgiving.
Sorry, poor Thanksgiving. Always gets left out.
Was that 96.1? The other morning I hit it and it was Jingle Bells.
No.
November
That's
November 1st.
November 1st. See, technically, you don't have to vote to adjourn, but you do need to adjourn, and then Jamie can shut off.
All right. I'd like and entertain a motion to adjourn,
I'll
please.
make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. All right.
Well, we just want to, yeah. What's interesting